Today's guest on the podcast is Peter Shankman. Peter has been called by the New York Times a rock star who knows everything about social media and then some. He's a 5-time best-selling author, entrepreneur, and corporate keynote speaker, focusing on customer service and the new and emerging customer economy. He is recognized worldwide for radically new ways of thinking about the customer experience, social media, PR, marketing, advertising, and ADHD, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. In addition to his passion for helping people and companies find success, some of Peter's highlights also include he's the founder of HARO, Help a Reporter Out, which you guys may remember. And he is also the founder of ShankMinds Breakthrough Network, an elite online mastermind of thought leaders, business experts, and change makers. Peter lives in New York City with his daughter, and he also loves the sport of triathlon. I hope you all enjoy this episode with Peter Shankman.
Welcome to the Same 24 Hours podcast with Meredith Atwood. We all have the same 24 hours each day, and it's what we do with those hours that makes all the difference between our health, happiness, and success.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Same 24 Hours podcast. I'm your host, Meredith Atwood. Today's guest on the podcast is Peter Shankman. Hi, Peter. I think you muted yourself.
Did. I'm pretty like that. How are you? How's everyone doing today? It's Monday. Come on, cut me some slack.
Oh, no slack. No slack, Peter. Sorry. It is Monday, and it is. So we just recently moved to Kansas, and it's super windy.
Why would you do that?
See, everyone says that, but it's really nice. I love it here.
I've heard great things. I have friends there. I've heard wonderful things about Kansas.
We're in Overland Park, and it's super suburbia, and I really like it, but it's super windy, and this is the first episode I've actually recorded here, and I keep thinking, oh my gosh, the wind. They're just going to hear nothing but wind from me. But
no doubt.
Well, happy Monday, and
Indeed.
Thank you so much. I've been a fan for a while, and it's great to connect. And so let's start by talking a little bit about your last weekend. You said you were in Vegas.
I was. I threw an event. So Vegas, funnily enough, is not a place for me. I'm very much anti-Vegas. When I have to give keynotes, it's actually in my contract that I'll only do a 12:30 keynote, a lunchtime keynote in Vegas, so I can get there at 6 a.m., take a 6 a.m. flight, land at 10, speak at 12:30, get back on a plane at 4:30 and come home. Me in Vegas with no chaperones or supervision never ends well.
Right.
And so I had to actually throw an event where I had to be there for 4 days, and it was, it proved interesting. I was able to, take care of myself, by just being smarter, by making sure that, my schedule was entirely always booked, that I never had downtime, right? Mm-hmm. Even on the one day I allowed myself to sleep in late the day before the event, I still made sure I didn't have downtime. I scheduled in sleeping late. Because
downtime would be you getting lost in a casino and emerging 10 days later?
Exactly, a casino or it's nothing that happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Everything that happens in Vegas stays on Instagram. And so, it's just, am I going to go and ruin my, blow my kids' college fund? Probably not. But let's just not risk that.
Right. No, I get it.
I have two very distinct speeds. My ADHD means that I only have two speeds, and they are namaste and I'll cut a bitch. And there is no middle ground there. And so I have learned that valuable lesson.
See, I kind of have those two speeds too, but I don't think I have ADHD. What does that say about me?
You're probably an entrepreneur, but it's very much aware. You just have to be very aware of what you're doing, and how to take care of yourself and how to make sure that you're doing the right thing all the time.
So let's talk about ADHD. Tell us what that was like kind of growing up and when you kind of figured out when you were diagnosed and how you've hacked it and not even hacked it. That's probably a bad word.
For me, ADHD, when I was growing up, didn't exist as a kid. When I was growing up, it was sit down, you're disrupting the class disease. And every single report card was, as a matter of fact, I literally just this morning, I was putting away, let me find it for you. I was putting away my photos and some photos from last year, and I found a photo, something I had cut and pasted from, here it is, from my report card in 1980 when I was 8 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Socialization. Peter accepts responsibilities and is very helpful in class. However, he shows little self-control in speech and at times doesn't follow directions. He can work independently but has a relatively short attention span for his age. Therefore, he doesn't concentrate on his work. Peter seems to relate better with children either older or younger than himself. I mean, if that is not classic ADHD, right? But back then, again, it didn't exist. And so my parents, I had a very, not tough childhood. My parents loved me and they never stopped believing in me. But I would ask myself a lot, why can't you just be like everyone else? Why is this so difficult? Why do you keep making these mistakes? And it was hard.
So what was it like as a child? I mean, I don't have a lot of experience with ADHD. So when you were in that classroom and you were 7, what was it like for you? ADHD
is simply the inability for the brain to produce enough dopamine, serotonin, and adrenaline to keep you focused. And so because of that, you're constantly looking around for stimuli. That stimuli can take its place in many forms. For me, at an early age, I learned that I was able to make people laugh.
Mm-hmm.
So, and when you make people laugh, that's incredible stimuli. Holy crap, they like what I said. Haha, this is awesome. What a great feeling. So, teacher would say something. I remember I was in Hebrew school to go for my bar mitzvah and get kicked out of a class because the teacher, and the Jews were in the desert for 40 years, and what weren't they allowed to eat? Of course, the correct answer is, anything non-kosher. Raise my hand, Peter. Pepperoni pizza. Go to the office. My name was Peter, go to the office. It wasn't Peter Shankman. And, it was difficult, and it took tons and tons of time to come into myself, as it were. Probably not in my mid-30s, when I realized that what I have can actually be very beneficial if I know how to use it properly.
And that's the topic of your latest book, Faster Than Normal.
Yep.
Turbocharge your focus, productivity, and success with the secrets of the ADHD brain. So, okay, what are the secrets? What are these secrets?
Well, I mean, look, a lot of people who have ADHD, they don't look at it as a gift. I personally believe ADHD is a massive gift as long as you know how to use it. If you understand how to use ADHD, you can do incredible things, truly incredible things. But you have to understand how to work the brain. Essentially, if you're driving a Honda all your life and someone comes up to you at age 30 and says, hey, here's a Lamborghini, have fun. If you have never driven a Lamborghini before and you try to drive it the same way you drive a Honda, you're going to crash into a tree, right? You have to understand how to drive it. And so for me, for people with ADHD, that means you have to understand how to drive a faster brain. And the beauty of it is, whether you have ADHD or not, you can become incredibly productive and gain a lot more strength and life out of your day simply by following the rules that I do. First rule of thumb is you simply have to exercise every single day. When you don't have enough dopamine in your system, that's when you start to get into trouble. And an hour of exercise every single day will give you back that dopamine. So at 3:45 this morning, like every other day, I was on my Peloton bike. I get up, probably at 4 o'clock. I get up around 3:45. By 4 o'clock, I'm on my bike. I do 1 or 2 Peloton classes. The bike is 6 inches from my bed. I literally have to walk around it to get to the bathroom, so it's not like I'm going to miss it.
Right, good plan.
I sleep in my gym clothes. I sleep in my bike shorts. If I had to think about, do I really want to go and find my bike shorts and put them, I'd be sleeping. I'd be, hitting snooze. I'm in my bike shorts and my socks. It's kind of hard to not work out when you're literally in your clothing.
Right.
I try to eliminate choice as much as humanly possible. I have.
Now, do you have a history of working out? Were you an athletic kid, or is this
not in the slightest? Growing up, I ran by pressing X on a controller. That was about it. Or I ran when in my 20s. I ran to the store for cigarettes. That it wasn't anything more than that. And so for me, I got into exercise probably in my late 20s because a friend of mine exercised, and she said, you should try this. You would do really well here. Running is like walking; it's just faster, and you'll meet lots of women. I'm okay, so and it became this sort of mind blowing experience for me. Like I finished my first run, I'm like, holy crap, I'm high as a kite,
right.
And it was wonderful. But again, you got to make sure that you're doing the right things. I have the elimination of choice, right? I follow a 20 and 4 schedule. I eat 4 hours out of the day. 20 hours out of the day, I don't eat. Why? Because it's elimination of choice. I don't have to think about, should I go get some pizza? No, you can't. It's not between 4 p.m. and 8 p.m. Right? Wow. And it eliminates choice. I have 2 sides to my closet. One side says office/travel, and it is t-shirts and jeans. The other side says speaking/television, and it allows me to wear a button-down shirt, jacket, and jeans. Everything else, suits, you name it, are sitting in my daughter's closet, my other room. Because if I had to think about, oh my God, I remember that sweater. Laura gave me that sweater. I wonder how she's doing. I should look her up. It's 3 hours later. I'm naked in the living room on Facebook. I haven't left the house.
Got it.
You have to understand yourself.
That's really interesting. Yeah, I'm that way with certain foods. I get the elimination of choice. Eating certain hours in the day is not my issue,
no
but I have to eliminate. Yeah, like when you said pepperoni pizza a few minutes ago, I was like, "Whoa."
Totally.
That sounds great.
And there are certain types of people in the world who have the ability to how should I put this? They have the ability to order pizza. I don't want to cook tonight. I'm going to order a pizza. They have 2 slices, and they put the rest in the fridge.
I don't understand that.
That's called leftover pizza. I've never had leftover pizza in my life.
No.
Right? So that's not a thing. That's not a thing. And so, again, knowing yourself.
Yeah. No, I talk about this all the time about moderation. That
exactly.
Moderation is not available to everyone.
Has it. Right. And that's why I quit drinking.
Yeah, me too. I'm sober 3 years.
Yeah, good for you. I want to say a little. I went about just under 2 years, and then I didn't say I blew it. I had a drink, and I went back, and now I'm back to not drinking. I prefer myself.
Yeah.
When I'm not drinking, I think is the best way to put it.
Well, see, that brings Vegas in a whole new perspective, because that's what
no question about it.
Yeah, I've never been to Vegas, and I've always wanted to go, and now as a sober person, I'm like, I really don't think there's anything good for me in Vegas.
Well, it's interesting. I enjoy Vegas for what it is, right? I like playing blackjack, but again, I have to be very, very aware of what I do.
So knowing yourself. Okay. So we exercise. That's a big thing, and know yourself. So you have to kind of remove impingements and roadblocks, right? I mean,
yep.
Okay. So what else? What else has really helped you?
So I talked about exercise. Eating healthy is tremendously awesome. You eat like crap, you feel like crap.
It's true.
I know how I feel after an entire pizza. I also know how I feel after an apple. Right? I try to use the apple test with everything. I'm hungry. Well, do you want an apple? No. You're not really hungry. No, I really am. Okay, then eat this apple. No. Okay, so you're not really hungry. So it's this constant battle I have with my brain.
Right.
But it works. And again, it's the key for me is there's a movie came out called War Games. The only winning move is not to play, right? And the premise is that if you play Global Thermonuclear War, you're going to lose. No one's going to win. So the only winning move is not to play.
Movie?
Matthew Broderick, yeah, 1982,
yeah.
83. Okay. And so, but I'm sort of that same way, right? I don't have one drink, I have 6. I don't have one slice of pizza, I have 8. So it's easier for me simply not to play. And do I miss playing? Of course I do, but it's easier not to play. And I've never woken up in the morning and saying, gee, I wish I'd played last night.
Right.
So yeah, just be aware of yourself. And, it doesn't say I'm not perfect. Occasionally I fall down, I eat the entire pizza, I drink the bottle of wine, whatever. But I try very, very hard. It's very, very rare that I do that. I had a trainer, one of my favorite guys in the world, my friend Ken. My friend Ken said to me one day, he goes, Peter, so a cheat day is not supposed to last 3 weeks. You know that, right?
Yes.
But he's right.
Yeah. I'm training for a figure competition, which is really hilarious if you've seen me.
That's awesome.
But I'm working toward that. And so my nutrition is very, very dialed in. Right. And the other day, like Saturday, I guess, I just ate like trash all day and I couldn't figure out what happened. Like to me, it just happens to me and I don't know why. Right. Yep. And I realized it was caused because I went to breakfast with my daughter and she had toast with almond butter slathered on it that she couldn't eat. She can't eat almond.
Yep.
And I can, even though I know that I should never eat bread. It is just, it might as well be pizza. It's, and then I'm in Vegas for 3 weeks on my bench. But I ate her toast with almond butter. And then for the rest of the day, I just ate whatever came across me. Whatever I saw, I just ate. And I thought, I don't understand how this keeps happening. But it's just not available to me. I am not allowed to have certain things because I just go off the deep end. So
I get you.
When
I keep him out of the house.
Huh?
I keep him out of the house.
Yeah.
You know, there was a great interview with Aaron Sorkin back when he was writing. Interview came out about 2 years ago, but it was all about when he was writing West Wing, and he basically said that every like 6 months or 3 months or 6 months, he would take a weekend and go to Vegas and basically just stay coked up for 48 hours, and he'd be high as a kite on coke, and he'd drinking or whatever, and he'd write some of his best scripts, and he'd come home and would never do it again. Like, until the next time he went to Vegas. That was his thing. He never did it at home. Right? And that was how he got through it. On a much lesser scale, it's sort of the same. I am, I know sometimes that the only thing that's going to make me feel better is a large pepperoni. And that's not often. Often I can placate it with a ride on my bike, with a run, whatever. But, I've been fighting a bad foot for the past couple of months. I have to have surgery next month, and I know that there's sometimes I can't do 10 miles. I can't go a 10-mile run. I can do a 15-mile ride, but I can't do a 10-mile run, and that's really what's out. So you know what? Fuck it. I'm ordering a pizza.
Yeah.
And,
but how do you deal with the consequences? Because that's where
there are none. There are none. If I order one pizza and I eat one pizza, I've accepted that's what's going to happen. I accept that I'm going to feel crappy.
Yeah.
But the next morning, I'm going to wake up and get back on the bike.
Yeah. And I think that's the key. And knowing that it's not permanent.
Again, it's not right. It can't, a cheat day can't last 3 weeks.
And then you also cannot just beat yourself up over it.
No.
You
let it go
and that goes along with the cheat day and the self-flagellating that happens. Like, you can't continue that for 3 weeks.
Exactly. And here's the thing, having a full doing really well for 3 months, then having a pizza doesn't mean you failed those. That doesn't take away those 3 months at all. Those 3 months are you still rock those 3 months.
Right. But perfectionism, let's talk about that.
Yeah. I mean, I've tried really hard to let it go away. I do what I can do the best I can. And I'm not perfect. No one is. Right? And if you try to believe you are, you're going to screw yourself. Just do the best you can every day and try to do a little bit better the next day. My logic is if I've helped someone, if I've done a little well, if I've made a couple of bucks, and if I've made the life of an animal better, I'm pretty good. I think it's pretty much a win.
Are there certain foods that you found, not from a moderation or go crazy standpoint, but that stand in the way of your focus?
Carbs.
Yeah.
I tend really hard. I try really hard to avoid carbs.
And when you say carbs, do you mean like starchy carbs?
Breads, pastas, things like that. Unfortunately, I usually try to do mostly a keto lifestyle. Mm-hmm. So it's primarily very, very low carb. The problem is when you go with pizza, it's just the worst of all possible worlds, because a large pepperoni, not only are you eating all the carbs of the pizza dough, but then you have the fat of the cheese and the pepperoni. It's like you just can't. It's literally the worst of everything.
We have talked about pizza for 18 minutes.
It's pretty true. Well, we're talking about the things that matter. Let's be honest.
That's right.
But yeah, so it's tough. But I do try to go low carb, and once I'm in it for a few days, like right now I'm in the office, but right now at home I am like hour 6 into a 10-hour slow pork shoulder slow roast, or slow cooker type thing, and that's awesome. I love stuff like that. So that'll be dinner tonight for me and my daughter, and throw some barbecue sauce on there, and a couple of veggies, and it's all good.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about after second grade and your report cards and kind of growing up. How did you know that you were an entrepreneur? I mean, was that just kind of the only way to go for you?
I had one job with America Online. That was my only job. And then after that,
What was your screen name?
It was PS Photog, Peter Shankman photographer. And then when I started working with them, I had to change to P Shankman. But it was amazing. I helped launch the newsroom at America Online, and I started AOL News with like 2 other people, and it was incredible. And then the downside was that they let half of us go, let 3/4 of us go, like in a half an hour. And it's one of those things where I woke up at 8 a.m. I had a job, at 10 a.m. I didn't. And then
and how old were you then?
Oh God, early 20s.
Okay.
Moved back home, back to New York City, and was like, okay, I need to get a job. But AOL was awesome because they let us come in whenever we want, leave whenever we want, as long as we got our work done. It was pretty awesome. And then I go to my next job, and I'm like, what do you mean I have to be in at 8:30 in the morning, and I have to check in, and I have to do this and that, and I have to make sure that this is, and I'm like, this is not a job. This is Russia. I don't understand. And it was this horrible experience.
Yeah.
Right? I'm like, this is bullshit. This is not fun. AOL really kind of spoiled me in that regard. And so for me, it was sort of a wake up call where, okay, if I want to do something that makes me happy, then I need to make sure that I am doing it on my own. Mm-hmm. And I went on my own. And I figured, worst case I literally told my parents, I said, what's the worst case that happens? Worst case scenario, I'll fail. I said, when I fail, not if I fail, when I fail, I'll get a job. And I figured it'd take about 3 months before I failed. Well, it's been over 20 years, and I haven't had to get a job yet. And I think that's pretty cool, right? I think that's pretty awesome.
Where did you learn to not be afraid of failure?
I love failure. I mean, I learned to skydive.
Oh no!
Right, and I have over 500 jumps.
No.
And for me, it's sort of like, if you're gonna fail, that's how you learn what to do. Right? When I open my parachute, I pretty much have two options. Those options are, the parachute's going to open and everything will be fine, or I'm going to have to pull my reserve and do my training. And the cool thing about that is that you wind up learning that there's no reason to worry. Because
no, Peter, no.
No, you're 100% wrong. There's no reason to worry. One of two things is going to happen. You're going to succeed or you're going to fail. If I fail, right, I'm done. But I'm probably going to succeed. I've done my training. My parachute likes to open. It wants to fly. It likes to fly. It wants to open. And for those 30 seconds, once I jump out of that plane, I can't change anything. I can't ask for a do-over. I can't suspend gravity. That is the most free I'll ever be in my life. There is no more freedom than exactly that. And so from that, I understood that failure in any other capacity doesn't mean you're going to die. And
I can learn that some other way, though.
Okay, and you're more than welcome to. I choose to learn skydiving, and that's why you don't have ADHD. But for me, that worked, and I love failure. I love learning. I won't hire anyone who hasn't failed. Yeah, it's the best thing in the world.
Yeah, I've failed. Now, don't get me wrong, but you just talking about skydiving. I mean, my stomach.
So it mean I should take you.
I mean, I can't. You would have to pull me out of the plane, and I am very strong. I can't. I could not jump on my own.
Well, you'd be attached to someone, so you probably wouldn't need to. But
you better get me a really big skydiving partner, because I'm gonna have both arms on the door and my legs like braced. I don't know. Like I do not mind taking risks in it. Pretty much everything, but the thought of jumping out of a plane, I don't know what it is.
Hey, you know what? It's scary, not for everyone. Right? It's not for everyone. It doesn't have to be for you.
But it bugs me that it's not for me, because I want it to be.
But it's scary for me, and that's the best part. Is that if it wasn't scary, I wouldn't do it.
So it's still scary after 500?
Of course. If the day I wake up and it's not scary is the day there's something really wrong.
500 jumps. What do you go like every week?
I have my own gear. I've been jumping for about 12 years now, and yeah.
Do you just wake up and go, "Hey, I'm going to go jump out of a plane"?
Yeah, I'm going to go head over to the drop zone today, and I'll do like 4 or 5 jumps in a day.
Really?
Yeah.
You do it multiple times in a day?
Yeah.
No.
And then sometimes I won't jump. I haven't jumped in several months. I've just been, slammed and busy. But, yeah.
Wow. All right. So let's talk about. We didn't because I want to know what you studied in college.
I was a journalism major.
Okay. So yeah, that led to help a reporter. So let's talk about that first.
So help a reporter, I like helping people. When you're ADHD, you talk to everyone. If you're on a plane next to me, unless you fake your death, I'm going to know everything about you.
Oh no.
And
you're that guy.
No, I'm the guy who knows everything about you. I didn't say I talk to you. I said I listen. There's a big difference. Listening means that I'm going to learn everything about you. It doesn't mean I'm going to talk to you. It means if you don't want to talk, that's fine. I'm not that guy in the slightest. I'm the guy who listens. Everyone else in the airplane loves to talk. I love to listen, and I learn more than you could ever conceivably imagine.
So how do you broach that conversation? You just open your mouth.
Hey, where are you headed?
Oh,
what's out there? And that's it. People start talking. And you try that next time. Shut up and let people talk. You'd be amazed how many people will talk to you, and you don't have to say a word.
I fear the rejection, though.
Well, you also fear jumping out of a plane, so there's not really much I can do for you there.
I'm just hosed. I'm a big fat chicken.
But, for me, I love talking to people. If they don't want to talk, great. Let them put on their headphones. I'll do the same. No harm, no foul. So, being able to do that allows me to learn about people. Learning about people means I had a giant Rolodex. I talk to reporters all the time. They talk to me. Hey, who do you know? Who can help you? I'm doing a story on blah, blah, blah. Who do you know? That led to my starting a mailing list. That led to Help a Reporter and a very successful exit about 3 years later.
Yeah. So what came after that?
Wrote some books. Learned about my ADHD. Consulted. Right now I run a mastermind group of about 150 entrepreneurs, all everywhere from just starting out to 10 years in to several exits under their belt. We help each other. It's entrepreneurship is lonely. It's really nice to have a tribe.
Let's talk about Mastermind, because I was actually not familiar with Mastermind until, I guess, about 2 or 3 years ago. And I know a lot of people probably aren't familiar with it.
Yeah, for me, a mastermind is essentially just having a group of people that I can consider a tribe. When you're an entrepreneur, you're by yourself, it does then get very, very lonely. So being able to have a tribe of people who you trust, who are there for you, who are willing to listen, is huge. And I didn't have that when I ran Help a Reporter out, and that became very important to me. I wanted to make sure I had that. When I sold the company, I was like, "Oh, you should join my group. It's $20,000 a year. It's this." I'm like, "Shit! If I had that, I probably wouldn't need it." I want to be with people who are like me and who are in the same mindset as me and things like that. And that's what led to ShankMinds. And so we are a group of about 150 people. And we help each other. We are a tribe for each other. We are our accountability. The usual concepts. And it's wonderful because it's, I know, okay, I have to be up at 4 a.m. tomorrow and I'm really tired. I don't want to, someone, make sure I am. And sure enough, I'll start getting texts at 4:01. You awake? Everything good? And, it's awesome.
And then you guys get together in Vegas.
Yeah, twice a year we get together. Once in New York. This is the first time actually in Vegas. Usually it's always in New York, but this is the first time we went out and had a great time in Vegas. But normally it's always in New York. Have
you always been an early riser?
No. I was a night guy most of my life. I didn't become an early riser until, probably 10 years ago, 15 years ago, when I realized that it was just super huge, important, super massive to the amount of things I can get done before you wake up. And look, I know it's not for everyone, and I don't put down people who don't like to get up early. That's totally cool. I do, and it works for me. And
do you like to write in the morning? Is that when you get your writing done? Yeah. Me too.
I've when I'm doing my long rides for my Ironman training, I'll be up at some as early as 3 a.m. I'll be in Central Park by 3:30. I'll have Central Park to myself for 3 hours before anyone else even wakes up.
Wow.
The downside of that is that I did get arrested once for exercising in Central Park, quote unquote, before it opened. Turns out there's a Central Park closes at night. I didn't know that. I didn't know you could close nature. But it was more about the fact that I told the cop I didn't know you can close nature. But
probably, yeah, that's what did it.
But that's how I live. And again, I'm not saying it's what everyone should do. I'm saying it's what works with me.
Didn't know you could close nature. Okay, so when did you find triathlon?
Probably about 20 years ago. Like ADHD, I did my first 5K. I'm like, that was awesome. I need to do a marathon. And then did my marathon. I'm like, well, that was fun, but now what? Next thing you know, it's triathlon. Why suck? My logic is, why should I suck at one sport when I can suck at 3?
Right.
And I joke, I don't finish with the Kenyans. I finish with a guy's named Ken. And that to me is perfect. Because that's exactly what I want. I know I'm not going to win. I don't need to win. I'm having fun. And I'm having fun. I'm doing something healthy. I'm taking care of myself. There's no downside to that, as far as I know.
So what races have you finished as far as Ironman?
I finished Cozumel. And at mile 13 of Louisville, of the run of Louisville, this was all told to me later. I apparently asked for water. I went to one of the water stops, and took some water, and they said, "How you feeling?" I'm like, "Feeling great." And they go, "Great. Where are you? What's your name?" I go, "My name's Peter," and it said Peter on my bib. And they, "Great, Peter. Where are you right now?" I went, "New York City," which is a problem, of course, 'cause I was in Louisville, and woke up in an ambulance with an IV in each arm. Apparently my body had stopped taking in water around mile 80 of the bike. It was about 104 degrees that day.
Oh, wow.
So that was a bad day.
What year was that? Was it when it was still in August?
2014, I think. Yeah, it was the last year they didn't know. It was the next year they changed it.
Yeah.
So I'm glad I could help people with that.
You're welcome.
No, glad I could offer you that.
Oh, yeah.
Glad my pain turned something beneficial for you.
I think 70 degrees on race day in 2015.
But I've done about a dozen half Ironman. I've done countless dozens of Olympics. I've done this at New York City Triathlon 15 years in a row. I mean, I love this shit. It's just fun for me.
Do you have what's your race goals for this year?
I'm doing Atlantic City half again. I'm doing New York City Triathlon again. I'm actually flying to Philippines and doing the Cebu 70.3 half.
Oh, nice.
So that should be pretty fun as well.
Yeah. Very cool. What's your favorite discipline?
So I enjoy the swim and I enjoy the bike. I enjoy the swim because I'm not a thin guy, and so fat floats. And I enjoy the bike because I will smoke the professionals going down a hill. Right,
me too. I'm like a rocket down.
Yeah, well, being a little heavy, it's one of the best things in the world. Is I could kill this, and so that's really cool. And that for me, and the run, not really a big fan. I have to have surgery on my foot later this. Probably next month or something like that, because call it 20 years of running as a fat ass.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah. So how about parenting? How is that? How is parenting and ADHD related?
They're not really that connected. I mean, I love being a dad. I'm a single dad. It's so much fun. She's such a blast. My daughter's such a blast. I just have such a great time with her.
How old is she?
She's 5 and a half. And so for me, just to be with her and be hanging out with her, and we play and we do things, and I'm it's fun because she gets to ask questions that I would ask as well. And we get to explore things and learn things together. And that's probably the best. I never read the Harry Potter books in my life, and we're currently reading the Harry Potter books together, which is just so cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Parenting is special.
I'm just a huge fan. It's just so much fun.
I like my kids better now that they're older. 5 is okay, but I have 2 and they're very close in age, and it was tough. I feel like it was really tough when they were little, and now that they're 10 and 11, they're just humans, and it's so cool to see, the people they're growing into. Mm-hmm. And I just didn't. Babies were hard. I don't know. I'm like, what do you want? Why
it was pretty simple for me.
Tell me what you want.
My kids slept a lot, which was really nice, but no, I'm having fun.
So what's next for you?
Who the hell knows? I'm having fun. I'll keep having fun. That's the goal. As long as I can keep having fun, I have absolutely no issues. I'll just keep doing that and keep having a good time. If I can keep helping people, if I can keep, showing kids and adults and parents, whatever, that ADHD is a gift, not a curse, that's a benefit as well. I don't really have, everyone's, your goals are, I'm having a good time. And as long as I can keep having a good time, I'm very happy.
So one more question for you, Peter. This podcast is called The Same 24 Hours, and it comes from the idea that we all have the same 24 hours in our day, but it's what we do with those 24 hours that leads to our greatest health, happiness, and success. So what is one thing that you can point to that you do on a daily basis besides exercising, since we've covered that, but one thing that you do on a daily basis that you think makes the most of your 24 hours?
Getting up early.
Yeah.
I go to sleep early and I get up early, and I love going to bed because when I go to bed, I get to the last thing that goes to my head is, I can't wait to do this again. And I get to wake up and do the same thing again. And how fortunate am I? I mean, come on, that's mind blowing that I get the ability to do that.
That's awesome.
It's just, you can't beat that.
Well, thanks, Peter. We'll post everything up in the show notes, and your book, Faster Than Normal, was awesome. So thank you for your time, and I look forward to following whatever's next.
Pleasure was mine. Let's do it again.